If you're a musician that's in your 40s and you think that it's too late to make money in the music business, I actually think this is the perfect time. I think that you have advantages that younger artists don't. In this video, we're going to discuss what kind of advantages that you have, how to use those to move forward in music. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Randy. I've been an audio engineer for 16 years full-time. I've seen every age go through the music industry, and I've seen people that are young that have been successful. I've seen people that are older that have been successful. I'm 41 myself. I know what it's like to get older and to earn money in the music business at different stages. So the question is, are you too old to make money in the music business? And my answer is, hell no, you're not too old. How can being over 40 years old be better than being younger? You often hear the phrase that this is a young man's game. The music business is set to have people that are younger, that don't have a lot invested into their lives, running around, touring, making big swings financially, losing it all, and taking all these risks because they can. But us old people, we can't be taking risks like that. I'm not about to lose my house over this. You've seen a thing or two. You've already taken some risks in the past. You know what risk feels like. You know what winning looks like. You know what losing looks like. You can either use that as your advantage or you could have it as a hindrance. Let's figure out what those things are. Advantage number one is to calculate risk. When you're younger, you want to just take random risks because something seems exciting. We want to develop a risk-reward ratio that makes sense for our lives. I'm talking about building a real business. I'm not talking about quitting your day job and immediately just going out there and living out of your car. Nobody wants to do that at this age. What we might want to do is start by seeing if we can make a little bit of money on the side, seeing if that could help pay some bills. Another advantage is understanding the whole superstar fallacy. When you're younger, you think there's either being nothing, being broke and a failure, versus being the biggest superstar in the world. But the truth is that most people that make money might just be making livable wage. Some people might be making a little bit more than that. Some people a little bit less. And we're trying to create a life where we can do what we love, which is making music, and have it hopefully pay itself back, hopefully give us a little bit more money, and hopefully get some feedback from fans and develop something. Another advantage is taking that experience with you and reapplying it at your age. You have experience that younger artists don't. You also probably know what you want out of life more than younger artists. You could set up your music and your business around that to make the best out of it. To be able to have time with family, to be able to have your day job, and also to be able to work extra off to the side, building something that you love. We all start as hobbyists. When you're younger, if you hear hobby, that feels like a negative term. But I personally think that is one of the best things ever. Knowing how to invest into your hobby can help you make the right decisions to build a life making music. Knowing how to invest your time and money is what makes the difference between spending a bunch of time and money, wasting it all over the place, and actually building something with that effort. I'm sure you don't have a lot of time, so you better make the time count. Another advantage that you have is that you've been making music for a long time. Some have the advantage of having made music for their entire lives. And if you have that, you know the kinds of music that you like to make, and you know the kinds of music that you don't like to make. I still think you should be flexible in the types of music that you want to make, but at the same time, you have a flavor that you've been developing. And nowadays in the social media world, it's about finding fans that have that same flavor as you and building a fan base with that. For those of you who are later in life and just starting to make music, then embrace the chaos of trying to learn a bunch of new things at once. Do the things that you love doing. Have fun doing it. If it stops being fun, none of this matters. Another advantage is you're not confusing attention with progress. Meaningful progress is something that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of moving parts to work together to be successful in. When you're younger, you could get distracted by the fact that you might get some attention here and there. But the consistency of building something that's solid over time is something that I always see in older artists versus younger artists, of course. At 41 years old, I don't need something that goes viral. I need something that compounds over the future. I'm making a ton of videos, and I understand that it takes a long time to develop something on YouTube. So I don't get discouraged when something doesn't happen right away. I know what those long-term goals feel like. I'm thinking in 5-year increments here for YouTube. And you could think the same way with your music. This is all about the long game here. I feel like younger people only see what's right in front of their face. They can't see the long term. And thus they make all of their decisions based off of that. But to be able to make money in the music business, it takes time. Let's just say you've gotten a bunch of monthly listeners on Spotify for this past year. All those monthly listeners are great, but you know that to make money, you need a lot more than that. So the first step is to create something that is actually getting some attention, some feedback, and then be able to sustain that long enough to where you could actually build it up over time. Getting a big amount of views out of nowhere is not really exciting, and it doesn't really equate to a business. So the question is can you get a certain amount of streams or views or plays over the course of a certain amount of time? And can you slowly, incrementally grow those things? It takes time to do that. You're not worried about one little spike of energy. You're worried about sustained energy over time. You can relax and not think that this is some sort of quick time game where if you don't make it within 3 minutes, then you're not going to win. Musicians that have been living off of music have been doing this for a long time. It's a life goal. It's not just a simple like flash in the pan thing. Let's just say you're 40 years old. If you want to continue to do this when you're 60, you have 20 years to build something up. You can relax being authentically who you are. You don't have to follow a trend real quick. In fact, following trends at this age doesn't work anyways. What works is you being yourself, being authentic, and finding an audience that is craving that. Because in this world of AI and all this BS constant stream of content stuff, people want to feel something real. And I don't know about you, but for me, as I get older, all the BS feels less and less important. What feels important are the things that really matter in life. Don't be afraid to sound like yourself. Be who you are as a musician and find an audience that is craving that. I know I keep on repeating that same thing, but it's huge. If this is something that resonates with you, drop a comment in the comment section and let me know how long you've been making music. What are the struggles that you're facing? What are the things that you feel like you're free from or that you don't want to be a part of now? You're not alone in feeling this way. Most artists actually feel this way at this age, unless you're like fully delusional and think that you're competing with 20-year-olds. My core message is stop trying to make it. Start thinking about this like you are building something that grows slowly over time. Success doesn't equal fame. Growing a real business, doing something that you love, is 10 times more meaningful anyways. Most people don't fail because they're not good enough. They fail because they don't connect with their audience, their core. They don't adapt to what it takes to develop a business at the right pace. I want you to think about picking a lane. One can strictly be music. Another one can be education. If you have a lifetime of learning how to play guitar, we need that in this world. You can teach people what you know. You could develop a YouTube channel and make money that way versus going off of Spotify streams. And spoiler alert, you're supposed to have multiple income streams to be able to collectively get enough to live off of. Getting Spotify streams is cool, but if you have other things about your life that you've learned, all this experience that you've developed, how can you share that with people? The old business model of getting signed by a record label is dead. Does it happen sometimes? Sure. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for developing a hub that you can grow from. And that is through content. I'll use myself as an example. I've been an audio engineer for 16 years. I'm working with music every single day. All different kinds of artists, all different ages. I've developed all this experience in music that's very specific to me, very personal to me. And I'm going to use my experience to try to develop a channel to help musicians in a way that I think that should happen. And I don't think anybody could do it the way that I could do it. Not bragging or anything like that, but just everybody has a unique perspective. You have a unique perspective. And it may not be something that seems obvious for you to do right now, such as turning a camera on and talking about something. It doesn't feel natural to me, by the way, but I'm trying to grow something slowly over time, but it's in the subject of what I've spent my entire life working on. What are your experiences? What are things that you can teach people? What is entertaining about you? You can add those things onto your music, especially because of all the content that you have to make. The number one issue that I see from artists that are older is that they give up. They just kind of want to make the music that they want to make. They don't want to promote it. They don't want to learn how to use a program. They get stuck thinking like they were 20 years ago. If you're able to adapt, if you're able to try out new things, you can go far. You could develop something that is deeply fulfilling in your life through something that you absolutely love. Music, something that changed my life. I hope it changed yours. The next thing would be, yeah, you can make some money off of it. What it takes to live off of music full time means that you are developing a business with multiple income streams. And that's not age dependent. You have a niche that you can develop and build a business on better than somebody who's younger. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes effort. We already know this. Do I even need to say this? But the good news is that the hype of making it at this stage of life should be clear that it's all bullshit. Simply making it is something that people chase and don't build real longevity style businesses off of. If any of this is something that you can relate to, I'm going to be continuing to make videos along these lines. I'm trying to develop something that people could follow along with and hopefully learn from. A couple months ago, I had 0 subscribers. Now I'm sitting at the time of this video, like 345 or something like that. My goal is to get monetized. My goal is to learn more about the music industry and how to make it in this newer age. Things are changing fast, and I want to document those things. I want to share those experiences with people and hopefully give you guys the motivation to continue going in the right direction. I appreciate your time. Thank you.